Don't you turn against me.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
You're not with me, then you're my enemy. You turned her against me!
You have done that yourself.
Release your anger. Only your hatred can destroy me.
I hate you! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness! You were the chosen one!
Hello, and welcome to Who Shot First, a Star Wars controversy podcast. Your one-stop shop for all controversies that have plagued the Star Wars universe.
I'm your host, Alex, and with me is our other host, Ethan.
And today we will be talking about the very touchy subject for many Star Wars fans, the Phantom Menace. So that's our topic for today, which was very interesting because the little bit of research I've done about it, or I've done a lot of research, but a little bit of the research I've done, it wasn't that controversial when it first came out.
Right, at the time.
Yeah, most people just didn't like it.
Yeah.
And now it's changed. Now it's evolved.
That's it.
So.
Well, yes. And I think that's interesting how that's changed over the years.
Yeah. So
This is where the fun begins.
we can start off with the big question. Do you like the Phantom Menace?
Well, yes and no. I am one of those people who I don't hate it. I think that, I'm in the camp where I saw it when I was younger, so I didn't realize just how bad it was upon initial viewing. But as I grew up, I realized, how flawed it is and how boring it is at times. But I think there's just part of me that I've never grown to hate it. I certainly know it's a bad movie, but it's still entertaining for me to go back and watch.
Okay.
Regardless of its flaws.
Okay. That's good because I will say I struggled to watch that movie.
First time you ever saw it, or?
Not the first time. I mean, again, I think when I first saw it, it didn't jump out at me as like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Sorry, did you see it in theaters?
I might have. I think I did.
Okay.
I don't particularly, it wasn't like memorable to me, so
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, like I had it on VHS and I had Attack of the Clones on VHS and stuff like that, but like I would say it was just a movie as a kid. It was just like, okay, it's there. I would say the thing that I would say, I guess I watched it more, but I watched it for the last battle. And
right, the last
in particular, the lightsaber duel, because that is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that, and the soundtrack is phenomenal for me too. So
yes.
But now going back and watching, it's tough for me, just because there's stuff that I see that is problematic and boring for me. Like I'm just like
in terms of plot holes, or just like
like there's a lot. Like we'll go into it, but like for me, and again, like I don't fault a lot of people for their love of it and stuff like that. And so like I'm going to be actually putting out like a lot of good things, because this is one episode where there's a lot more, I would say, good things than bad things about it. Like there's, and we're going to go deeper into the bad things. I would not bad, but like the things that like people didn't like in more of like a in-depth evaluation. Like we're going to go into Jar Jar as a whole separate. So like we'll talk about him a little bit, but he's a whole separate episode. Midichlorians are a whole separate episode.
All right. Good call. Yeah.
So it's like, so we're not bogged down with those like big specific controversies, but I mean, like, especially nowadays and stuff like that, I'm like, I see a lot of racist pieces in Phantom Menace. I see, and again, I'll go more into that later, but like, I see Jar Jar Binks as a racist character. I see the Nemoidians as racist characters. Now, Do I think that George was specifically like, yes, I'm going to be racist to these things? No. I think, honestly, a lot of it is a lot of what we're dealing with society right now of just like the white ignorance of just like, he's like, this is cool. And like, this is how I want him to look and stuff like that. Cause I've done a lot of research into certain stuff, but like Nemoidian, because Nemoidians aren't getting their own episode, but like the Nemoidians have a very Asian accent and their eyes are slits and like it's there's pieces of it that are just like this is and they're backstabbing and I'm just like there's pieces here that shouldn't be here, George. So that's my views on it. I see a lot of the positives that people get out of it. It's just not, I don't think, just not my cup of tea. So
the movie as a whole is not your cup of tea?
Correct.
Yeah.
I will say it introduces one of my favorite characters of all time in Star Wars, Darth Maul, but he is tragically misused.
Yeah, well, right.
Yeah, so those are my thoughts on it. We're gonna start off with the positives. So, and there's a bunch of them.
Okay.
So we're gonna go.
Yeah.
We can dive right into that section right now.
Sure.
I got a bad feeling about this.
So, a big positive that a lot of people have for Phantom Menace is similar to the 1997 re-releases. That many people see that the Phantom Menace introduced a new generation of kids to the Star Wars universe.
Right.
So journalist Martha Soren states, the prequel allowed me to access the series from the point of view of a character my own age, in 9-year-old Anakin. This is a fun, special effects-filled kids movie. Don't take it too seriously. Just enjoy the ride. There is a generation who genuinely giggled at Jar Jar Binks' insufferable antics. So Martha obviously really enjoyed it, and she was of age when it came out, so she identified with Anakin. I was his age when it came out as well, but I didn't really identify with him. So
right.
that wasn't my connection. Roger Ebert, though, the famous film critic, even saw good potential in the film. When he reviewed it, he said it is the epitome of Star Wars. The importance of the movies comes from their energy, their sense of fun, their colorful inventions, and their state-of-the-art special effects. So that was Roger Ebert saying amazing things about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so another through Forbes did an article about the Phantom Menace in 2019, and it's looking back by Scott Mendelson, and it talks about Star Wars Phantom Menace at 20, because the 20th anniversary was last year.
Wow.
Yeah. But so he states that one film was a cinematic breakthrough and launched the fandom of 100 million would-be movie lovers. The Phantom Menace was always intended as a gateway drug, a kid-friendly space opera designed to snag young audiences into the world of Star Wars just as it was reborn. Those are a bunch of people saying that they really enjoyed Star Wars as a gateway into the fandom.
Right. I can, yeah. I mean, so that's the camp I'm sort of in, where when I saw it, I was young enough to be infatuated with the special effects and all of the awesome action scenes when they occurred, but I don't attribute my fascination and new love of Star Wars to that movie. I was certainly young enough to be caught up with it, and I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought here.
No, I mean, it makes sense. Like, it reinvigorated Star Wars. 'Cause I'll say, like, when I was a kid, like, I think with 99 and stuff like that, when Phantom Menace came out, they started re-releasing toys and like the micro machines and that kind of stuff. So of the older movies. So there was a bigger like ability to have those things. Yeah. So
I think
again,
didn't Lego Star Wars start to come out right around then? Didn't Lego start introducing
like Lego Star Wars Legos, yes, they started.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
they came out around this time. The game hadn't started yet. That was
No.
later down.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, the Star Wars Legos are a huge thing that fans love and are all about. I have a number of friends who are spending quite a bit of money on Star Wars Legos.
Like $700 for.
Oh, not that high. No. But like
okay.
$300 on a set. Yeah.
It's like one of those like Ultimate Collector Series ones.
No, they actually just bought the Ghost from Rebels.
There's a $300 Ghost out there.
It's originally only 150 or whatever, but because it's so limited, like it's not produced anymore. They got it off eBay, and they got it actually a really nice deal because they got like both Phantoms with it and everything.
Okay, well, to each his own. If I was going to invest that much in a Lego set, I would want it to be like a Ultimate Collector Series or something that I
don't know what that is. What does it mean?
Oh, that's the one specifically for older teens and adults. Those are the ones that are. It's just a detailed model set.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's what is. What can I say? This is my girlfriend. She bought this. So.
Oh, did she?
Yes, but yeah, no, she did because she's super into Star Wars too, and
right.
And but again, it's the Ghost. They are like models. They're not like the kid toy versions.
Oh, they're
like
not.
I mean, like they're toys.
Okay.
Like you can play with them still, but it's not like a ginormous like set. But I'm like, it's a small little Ghost, but like it's detailed. So no.
Okay.
It's like the $150 like Millennium Falcon or whatever that you can like open up and you can sort of play with. You can't move it around, but like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, shout out to my girlfriend.
Well, doesn't she have a special? Doesn't she have a special connection or appreciation for Rebels?
Yes.
I thought she was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We both are big fans of Rebels. That's actually the first Star Wars thing we ever watched together. She introduced me to Rebels. So.
Was that okay? So you started with season 1, episode 1.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Started a couple episodes. So.
Nice.
We might get her on the podcast. We'll see.
Okay.
So that's again gateway for everybody else.
Yeah.
A big thing that a lot of people really liked about Phantom Menace was the pod racing.
Really?
Yes. Were you not a fan of the pod racing?
Well, I guess I was a fan of the pod racing. Just I felt it was too long. Maybe I got bored with it as it progressed.
I will mention something again. The DVD version of the pod racing is longer than the theatrical cut.
Is it really? They extend the pod race?
He extends it, and it actually makes a little more sense.
Okay.
Because I recently watched that, and I had not seen Phantom Menace in decades. Because I'm just like,
decades?
It's just not.
Wow.
Not like I'll watch the clip. I'll watch clips of it. Like I'll watch the clip of, but like no, it had been like a decade.
Since you had actually watched it.
Since I actually watched the whole from beginning to end. I'm just like I don't need this movie. But I'll say I can understand that it's a lot longer than it was originally. But I will say it makes the scene make more sense. Like it makes the pod race make more sense in and of itself. To me it still doesn't necessarily fit in the film, but the scene itself makes sense. But a lot of people really liked the pod racing, and basically it shows George Lucas's love affair for old school hot rod cars.
Yeah,
because like he did American Graffiti, and he did that with and according to Bustle.com, an article that's entitled "Phantom Menace is the best Star Wars movie I'm only kind of afraid to admit." So
great.
that person really likes it, and basically said it's a modern day Grease streetcar race, and everything from the scenery to the vehicles to the special effects are excellent. So I will say the sound engineering on the pod race is phenomenal. Yeah, like it sounds amazing. So, but yeah, no, a lot of people really like the pod racing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't dislike it. It was just, it was just, yeah, for me, it was too long, and I just didn't really, it was, I guess they were trying to be, suspenseful in this intense race, but I just didn't feel that, I guess. I didn't really, I didn't really feel like it was high stakes because I knew that Anakin would win.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, like, he can't lose, because if he loses, then he's stuck
Movie's
there.
over.
And movie's
Yeah.
over. Series over. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, also going along with the pod racing of like the different aspect of another big piece is it gives a bigger galaxy. Like it expands the galaxy.
Yeah. In terms of species or
what?
In terms of like species or
in terms of like locations and like, because like we know it's Star Wars, but like in the original trilogy, you're kind of, each movie is kind of set on like one or two planets.
Yeah, but we were introduced to Tatooine before episode 1.
Right. But like the argument is like it introduces you to Coruscant, which is the huge part of it. And it introduces you to like the Senate, which then, while not necessarily expanding you seeing the worlds, but you're looking at this and you're like, there are thousands of worlds out there. And like there are like, and so you see all these different species and you're like, they all come from a different world. And stuff like that. And so in this article from the Daily Dot about the Phantom Menace, it says, by introducing us to the Galactic Senate, only mentioned in previous films, we see just how many systems and groups were a part of it, and thanks to Palpatine, how the political system can be manipulated. So also it's a lot of that. It's just it shows you a bigger galaxy, it shows you a lot of different cool pieces to it. Then the article also states the movie was about new things to look at. So hence the stunning vistas of Naboo, the surprising number of practical effects, none of those ships are computer generated, the highly experimental foray into all CGI characters, and Queen Amidala's iconic outfit inspired by the Mongolian royal costumery. The Phantom Menace answers all these questions and does it plausibly. There is a pleasing narrative arc from our first encounter with the young Anakin to his final transformation into Vader. So it kind of basically the argument of a greater galaxy and answers a lot of the questions that I would say were not really questions, but like that people were wondering about. So like what's the Senate look like? Like where, like what is this Senate that they're talking about, and what are the Jedi, and what are these cool, interesting, like who is Anakin and where did he come from? Like how do we know? We didn't know he was from did we know he was?
All we knew was his name. No, all we knew was his name.
we never knew he was from Tatooine. So you're just like, so I mean, like you learn, oh my gosh, Luke is living on the same place that his dad lived. Like
Yeah, the only thing we know about Anakin from the original is just his name, and that, he was just a Jedi during the Clone Wars, of which we know nothing.
And he was Obi-Wan's apprentice. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And that's it. So.
Yep. That's it.
So that's the big argument there, is that like it plausibly answers a lot of these. I wouldn't even say they're questions. It's just these unknowns that we didn't know, and it kind of just like it gives you these answers, and you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Right.
So similar to like answering the cool ideas thing is Jedi are really cool, apparently, according to a lot of people. They really like the Jedi. I will say Qui-Gon Jinn is awesome. I really like Qui-Gon Jinn.
Oh,
like he's one of my favorites. So that was really nice to have him. So I would say he's really cool. But so according to Joe.com, article written about the Phantom Menace at 20 years, it takes pretty much the whole movie to get to the showdown between Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Darth Maul. But it's worth the wait. The fight is well designed and choreographed, the stakes high, the payoff genuinely shocked, and the music, good Lord, the music. Duel of Fates got its debut here, and there's a reason it got out of this project not only unscathed, but beloved.
Yeah.
So we see cool Jedi action, and like I will fully admit that lightsaber battle is one of the best, if not the best, lightsaber duel in Star Wars.
Oh yeah, and I mean just to have that's the first lightsaber duel we see since Return of the Jedi, and just how different it is, how much more choreographed and fast paced and intense it is, and just with like the special effects and everything else. But I think it's the intensity and
that was mostly non-special. That was mostly practical. Like they trained the heck out of it. So like the fact that that's just all choreographed, that's not like let's animate these people together. Like it's
right.
People doing crazy flips and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of shows the force abilities a little bit more. I think that's the first time you see the force jump.
Yes.
Yeah. That kind of thing.
Well, not actually. Like it's the first time you see it in plain view, because I'll just side tangent. You actually see the force jump in Empire Strikes Back when Luke jumps out of the carbonite pit, but like it just happens so fast you're like you don't know if that's a force jump or whatever. But
okay.
But yes, no, like it introduces us to Star Wars like force abilities used in a fight.
Yes.
Because it's not really used. I mean, like Obi-Wan gets knocked back with a force push. I'll say that the force push is the first time that's ever used.
Yes,
because I mean, like
so.
Vader pulls stuff and like throws stuff, but like it's an actual push.
That's right, because Luke doesn't actually get pushed out the window; he gets sucked out.
He gets sucked out the window. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So I mean, like it's just and to me, like that's so cool how that affects people. Because I mean, like it's a little push. Like he doesn't really do much, but you're just like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Oh, totally.
And then Obi-Wan like jumping over the top of Maul and stuff like that. You're like, yep, he didn't do that normally. That's a force push, force jump or whatever. But so that was really cool. Also, The Guardian wrote about this in cool Jedi stuff, and the scene in which Qui-Gon and his apprentice fend off laser fire from the Federation's droideka using only their lightsabers has rarely been equaled in Star Wars. So they really like the droideka attack.
Yeah.
Which it's not actually that long, and I wouldn't necessarily it hasn't been equaled, but it's a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems a little.
I would say drastic. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But they also use whatever force not jump, but force, speed when they dodge that initial blast at the end. You know what I'm talking about?
Because like I'll say like, and yeah, no, I would agree. So, but like just the expansion of force powers is a really cool thing that a lot of people like, and I'll say I even enjoyed the expansion of it. Also, another Daily Dot article says the Jedi Council, we find out how they worked within the Republic and how a code established precedents like the number of Padawans a master could have. The diversity of the Council gives us a better idea of how anyone in the galaxy could be a Jedi and offers a sense of sheer size of the Order. Because, there's what, like 12 members?
Of the Council?
I don't even know, yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, at least 12.
At least 12, yeah. And then kind of going into that, a big positive that a lot of people have is the introduction of cool characters. So the big one that we've already sort of talked about a little bit is Darth Maul.
Yep.
Darth Maul's amazing. He's played by an actual like martial arts expert with a double-bladed lightsaber that like just makes you so nobody had ever seen that before.
Yeah.
And you're just like, a double-bladed lightsaber! Ah!
Totally.
So it made him so cool.
And especially, and the reveal of that double-bladed lightsabers
is legit. It's masterful. Again, yeah. That one.
When he uses it the first time, he only uses one side. So you're like,
right.
Oh, it's a red lightsaber. But yeah, it's awesome.
some people say like he's easily the most kinetic character in the whole saga, of just like he's the most easily to identify and relate to, and just like of movement, and just like that's why everybody still loves him, and that's why he literally got brought back in Clone Wars, because everybody was so disappointed in his death.
Right, because I think originally it was never the plan to like bring him back until like this fan outcry.
No, it had nothing. It had no. We'll go into that a little more, but no, they brought him back because the Clone Wars TV show was failing.
Really?
The ratings were bad, and so they brought back Maul, and basically Maul kind of saved the series.
That's that's interesting. I did not realize that.
But along those lines of like Maul manages to make an impression as a amazing, awesome, really cool looking villain because he has so few lines of dialogue, and his double-bladed lightsaber. Like he literally has 2 lines of dialogue. He says like, "At last we'll reveal ourselves. At last we'll have a revenge." And then he says, "Yes, my master." And I think that's it.
Yeah. Certainly nothing bigger than those lines. Those are his big lines. Yeah. No. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Darth Maul, awesome. Love. A lot of people really like. This is again the introduction of Padme. A lot of people like Padme. So Padme, we see her as a strong, capable leader of her people. She may be young, but she is not intimidated by those around her, whether it's the Trade Federation, the Jedi, or the Senate.
Is she supposed to be 14?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So Amidala is willing to do whatever it takes for her people, even risk her own life. So, and that comes from the Daily Dot again, that same article. But yeah, no, she's only 14, and Anakin is 9. So that relationship's great. But we'll talk more about that later. A minor, like, really cool thing though, and I'm not sure if you know this. You know, back to our wonderful Phantom Menace is the best Star Wars movie article. They talk a lot about Amidala. Amidala is a queen of Naboo, and she is so invested in her planet that she occasionally swaps places with her handmaiden so she can get her hands dirty in the affairs of her people. She was a strong leader and a dedicated public servant, and she wasn't about to let her title or gender stop her from being in the action. Because, yeah, a lot of people see her as I wouldn't say feminist icon, but like a strong female character in this film, because she is coming up with these plans and she's running around doing all these things that you don't realize she's doing, which is really interesting until the reveal at the end that she's been running around as a handmaiden.
Oh, yeah. And she's been, and she's been leading these people, especially in the last battle and stuff.
Yeah, and like and it's very interesting because like I like one of her lines. I like it more as I get older, because like as a kid, like it doesn't make sense. But like she states, like, I will not choose a course of action that will lead us to war. And then she's invaded, and then she doesn't really say like I'm going to go to war, but she's willing to put her life at risk, and she fights and stuff like that. And you're like, okay, so I want to protect my people. And it's her people that are who she's trying to protect.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and then there's 2 more characters that we get to bring up with Palpatine.
Yeah.
The introduction of Palpatine. Everybody loves Ian McDiarmid. Everybody.
Absolutely.
They really like his delivery of everything. And so according to the same article, Ian McDiarmid, who finally gets to step out from behind the gnarly makeup of the Emperor. McDiarmid does a brilliant job of playing both Senator Palpatine and Darth Sidious. As Palpatine, he manages to pull off the outward, helpful senator while giving you chills as his evil undertones come through in lines like, "I will be Chancellor," and "We'll be watching your career with great interest."
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're like, ooh, these are... At first glance, you're like, okay, that's just a random line. But then as you learn more and you go back and watch it, you're like, oh,
yeah.
Not a good person.
Planting the seeds early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I literally cannot find anybody say anything bad about McDermott. To be honest,
I don't know
that's
what could their argument be, really? You know, I think he played it, perfectly. That, like they were saying in the article, that balance between this friendly, senator, like everything's fine, and then also playing, he can sort of switch into this dark side Sith mode. It's very sociopathic.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. He's a
Yeah.
Sith. Of course he's a sociopath.
Yeah.
I just find that interesting too, because this was still in Phantom Menace, they were still trying to keep it semi-secret who Sidious was.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. They did not tell you that Palpatine was, because if you remember, Palpatine is never said to be the Emperor's name in the original trilogy. He's only referenced as the Emperor.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So nobody knew who he was. So they were still trying to play a little coy of who's this Palpatine guy, and then they're like, oh, I wonder who this dark, mysterious character is going to be. By Attack of the Clones, that's gone.
Oh, yeah.
They got rid of that because, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but another great character that was introduced, because I'll just throw a minor thing of Obi-Wan Kenobi, great character in the prequels. Phantom Menace, he's not very good. So I will say, go ahead.
What's your argument for him not being very good?
He's wooden. He's very wooden.
Oh.
Okay. To me, it's he's the apprentice. He doesn't know. But again, that's so. And I haven't found very many people with the research and everything. He's not one of the characters that people are in Phantom Menace specifically. Later on, we'll get there.
Yeah.
But in Phantom Menace specifically, they're not oh man, Obi-Wan Kenobi was so good. Now,
right.
They are talking about who was so good, Qui-Gon Jinn.
Oh yeah.
Because he was a different type of Jedi, willing to go against his fellow Jedi and masters and follow his instincts. Through him, we see the role of a true Jedi Master in the time of the Republic was as they clash about their beliefs.
Right. Well, and technically, wasn't he not considered? He wasn't technically a master, right? He wasn't on the council.
No, he was not. He's not a master. He's a Jedi.
Right.
No, yeah. So with his fellow Jedi and the Jedi Masters, no, yeah.
But he's at that master skill level. Just doesn't technically have the title.
He doesn't have the title because in later information, and I mean Obi-Wan even says it of if you didn't in the movie, he says if you weren't so outspoken, you'd be on the council. In current canon, Disney canon and stuff, he's been offered or has been close to being offered a spot on the council. He is. He actually is. He has been offered a spot on the council, and he turns it down.
Okay.
So basically, it's again, that's kind of weird to me. Of why do you have to be a master? Why can you only be a master if you're on the council? Why can't you be a master off doing other things? So
right. Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. So, do you have anything else positive you'd like to bring up about the Phantom Menace?
Yeah, I mean, no, I think that I think we covered all the positive things. If I think of something, I'll throw it in at the end and something.
Make me edit it in.
Yeah, that's right. Make it do some flip-flopping.
Well, actually, so there is one last positive, because I'll say this because this is also a positive and a negative. A lot of people like the politics. They like seeing, they're especially my friend's fiance, Shamim, really likes the politics of all the prequels, and I might get him on the podcast too to talk about this a little bit. Okay, he really likes the politics, and he'll explain that.
I'd be interested to hear that.
Yeah, he likes explaining all the politics. But with that, we are going to dive into our next section of the things that people don't really like.
Like the Senate like the Senate sections.
Yeah. So,
like the politics.
I got a bad feeling about this.
So we can actually just dive into the politics part. According to Screen Rant, in order for the Empire to rise and suppress any possible rebellion, there needs to be all kinds of political maneuvering behind the scenes. George Lucas just isn't that kind of writer. The wheeling and dealing that happens during episode 1 and the rest of the prequels is just ridiculous. Lucas's determination to render the political bureaucracy in excruciating detail meant endless scenes of galactic senate and tedious discussions at the Jedi Council. That basically sums up all of the poor reception of politics in the Phantom Menace. Of like, yeah, it's literally we're talking about a trade dispute.
Yes.
The whole
exactly.
movie is based off of a trade dispute.
Yes. Yeah. We keep talking about it, and it leads to a war over a trade dispute, blockading a planet.
So yeah, that's a good spot. So yeah, there's the politics, and that's where the big argument of like, because there's the big argument is that Jar Jar, or that like the whole prequel, like Phantom Menace, like it's a movie for kids, it's Star Wars for kids. And I don't deny that. Like, I very much agree. But the argument against that is that, like, why would kids care about politics?
Exactly.
Why would they care about this much in-depth detail about politics and political maneuvering and
right? And the language they use to talk about the trade and politics and stuff is not language for that a young child is going to understand right away or be able to necessarily follow along with perfectly.
Yeah, it's politics, and it's wonderful. Not really, actually. A lot of people don't like it, but there are people who do. So there's actually a podcast that I'm listening to, or I have been listening to, called Beltway Banthas. Beltway Banthas is going to get a shout out, and it's a Star Wars and politics podcast. And so you might be interested. It's by a guy named Stephen Kent, and he's a libertarian, but he gets a lot of Democrats. Like, when it starts off, it's him and another guy who's very liberal, and they both kind of like just talk about the politics of Star Wars. Very interesting podcast. It's going through changes right now because he keeps losing his hosts.
Oh,
but like they keep moving on to different things. But he goes into it, and I'm like, as an adult, that sounds interesting, and it's interesting listening to him. But I'm just like, this is not something the kids are going to be diving into.
Right. Well, exactly.
So,
yeah, and right, it's boring for kids.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Next, we get to dive into the poor acting / writing. Because a lot of people claim that it's just really, really awful acting.
In some cases, yes.
And from what I've heard and from what I'm seeing more alongs, I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think it's more poor writing.
Yeah.
Because like according to Screen Rant, accomplished actors such as Liam Neeson, Samuel L. Jackson, Ian McDermott, Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Like, accomplished actors and actresses, all of them stumbled over their words and acted like they were kids playing Star Wars in their backyards. So like the writing and everything was, and I'll just say, like, this is not a me personal thing, but like the writing was so bad for Natalie Portman's character, she almost didn't continue to act.
Yeah.
She could not get jobs after the prequel movies.
Well, right. I remember like reading about how she was kind of like pigeonholed as this queen, giving these bad or these this dry lines or these bad dialogue in this.
Yeah, I mean it's super technical. And again, we're gonna actually go into a whole separate episode about dialogue.
Okay.
In Star Wars, it's going to focus a little more right now. It's focusing on Clone Wars, but it'll probably dive elsewhere. But basically, with this, it's also the poor acting, but with poor writing, because what you have to know is like a lot of these actors are not acting against anybody. They're acting against a tennis ball because of the CGI. Like,
Right.
so it's really hard to act against something. According to The Guardian, it really had George Lucas telling these actors where to look and how to react, since everything except the actors was a green screen. So they had no idea where they were and everything.
Yeah.
In the early days of green screen work, it was a little rough to act with feeling.
Right.
The problem is that they also removed much of the sense of mystery and enigma that surrounded those early films, as well as the classic adventure serial veneer that made them so alluring. So that's, again, a writing issue of like, it's so technical.
Yeah.
It's so technical and talking and everything. It's not like, oh, cool, let's run and randomly go look at this. It's, we're going to talk. And it's a lot of talking. It's not acting. It's not moving.
Yeah.
A big story problem, so according to The Guardian, the most prominent story problem, if not the most important one, is that Anakin saves the day entirely by accident.
Yes.
At the very end of the movie, when he blows up the up the Trade Federation ship, it's a complete and total accident.
Yeah.
And
that's a good point. Like, it's just just a total fluke.
And he's just like, I don't know, like nothing's dead. Like, oh, I wonder how to do this. And you're just like, he doesn't know how. Like, it's not strong. He's not building a strong. It's not like he's using his force powers or anything.
Yeah.
Or like he's the chosen one. It's just like you randomly hit buttons.
I'm pressing buttons, man. Yeah.
And randomly hit the main reactor. This is a total sidebar, but who stupidly puts their main reactor right next to their hangar? Like, nobody does that.
Well, also, that's the thing, though. Those proton torpedoes, they traveled a long way, like, without being, like,
hitting anything.
Without hitting something else.
Yeah.
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 Right.
So
yeah, those Lucre Hulks were not very well designed.
No. And, like, it just... And again, according to Forbes, it lacks any real character arc for any of its major players.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because they don't grow. There's no growing at all. Because, like, the closest you could say, I would say, is Obi-Wan Kenobi. But he's not a major player. Like, he's in the background the entire movie.
Yeah.
But, like, he goes from apprentice to master. And you're like, or not apprentice to master, but apprentice to Jedi. And you're like, well, you barely know him.
In episode 2, is he on the council yet? No, he's just a knight, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
And it's just like there's no, like, even Natalie Portman doesn't really grow as a character, like, because we don't really know her in the beginning, and there's no change. It's troubling, to say the least.
Yes.
And the most significant character issue in Phantom Menace, again, if not the most important one, is that Jake Lloyd is not especially compelling as Anakin Skywalker. In a documentary that I actually watched, like, this was his first acting gig.
This was before Jingle All the Way?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought Jingle All the Way came first, but
nope. This is his first, or maybe it might have been, maybe Jingle All the Way came first, but this was like one of his first movies, because I think he did Jingle All the Way and Phantom Menace, and that's all he did. Now, do I think he deserves all the flack that he got? And no. And do I think all the pressure that everything happened with him and the fact that he's had so many mental problems, like,
yeah,
I feel so bad for him, because, like, it has, again, I don't necessarily think it had a lot to do with Jake himself. I think maybe another actor could have made it a little more compelling, but it's a lot of, there's just not good writing.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have a whole lot to work with.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing to work with. It's
right. Yeah. And then nobody deserves to be bombarded with that kind of, hate and teasing, and I'm sure he got it relentlessly, Yeah,
at school. Like, it was in particularly, like, he got it at school. Jar Jar, who we'll talk about, got it a lot worse, like elsewhere. And he's getting his own episode, everybody. So he's getting so we'll talk a little bit about him, but we're going to only talk a little bit about him in this one. But
okay.
So yeah, so we'll actually dive through with that. So that was so it's just Anakin was not great, but not necessarily Jake's fault. Again, I think it's a lot to do with the writing. Because I mean, like, not to jump ahead, but like you even get Christopher Lee in Attack of the Clones, and like his acting is not great in that.
Nope, not particularly.
So and I'm like, that's a seasoned veteran that is not coming off real well. So, but so we will my last two things are we will do deeper dives on. But so we'll start with Jar Jar Binks. A lot of people hated Jar Jar. A lot of people. I will say I'm not a fan of him. I don't like him. But and so like the big reasons or main reasons that we'll go even further into is that he's kind of out of place. Like, just doesn't fit. He's potty humor, not a big fan of, that a lot of people aren't a fan of. And he has what some people would argue, like racist overtones.
Okay. And I've never heard that argument, actually, but
we'll go deeper into it. He'll get his own episode because that's actually going to be our next episode.
Oh, okay.
So he'll be our next episode. And then the episode after that will be about midichlorians. And that's another thing that a lot of people didn't like, because the idea that the Force was cosmic, mystical, and ethereal thing was cool, not some strange biological sci-fi mumbo jumbo that Qui-Gon tried to explain. It also introduced the preposterous concept to explain the Force, as if space magic needed explaining.
I mean, that's it.
The Guardian.
Yeah. That's perfect. The idea that you only can be a Jedi if your midichlorian count is high enough or whatever, ridiculous.
Yeah. No, and we'll dive deeper on that.
Yeah.
To get in there. So yeah, those are big problems with and there are a lot of other issues I'm sure people have. If you have any of those issues, feel free to contact us at whoshotfirstswpod@gmail.com and
whoshot1swpod. That's whoshot1swpod
at Twitter. So
yep.
If you have any of those any new things, let us know.
Yeah.
And we will try to either do a revisited or we'll bring them up later or respond to you. But yes.
Also, ideas for future topics are always appreciated.
Always welcome. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, because I have a lot of ideas, but we're gonna run out of them eventually. So.
Yeah. And we can do topics perhaps that are by popular demand. Who knows?
Absolutely.
Discussion.
So, any other last final thoughts on the Phantom Menace?
Other than the fact that I just to summarize that that in my opinion it's an okay movie with many flaws, but I don't think is nearly as terrible or as bad a movie as some would perceive it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I would agree. I don't like it as a film. So that's just me personally. But I'm not, and that's what I want to portray to everyone else. Of like, if you like the Phantom Menace, good for you. Good job.
Right.
Like, enjoy it. Like, I have no problem, and that's the thing I don't like about fandom right now, is that if you don't like something or you like, then everybody has to not like it. And if you like it, you're a problem. And I want to portray that, especially on this podcast and everything, of like, I'm trying to give both sides. Like, I don't necessarily like Phantom Menace, but I'm trying to show people like there are positives in it. And like, if you like it, that's awesome. That's great that you like it and enjoy it.
Right. Don't let us change your mind or
right. No. And I mean, like the reason I'm doing this is to like put all the podcasts, all the controversies kind of in one place and give people a place to think about it and like do more research on their own if they want to.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's just like, because especially with Last Jedi, I'm noticing that more and more. And I'm like, I'm a fan of it and you're not. And that's okay. And
oh, you're saying you're getting a lot of, whenever you say that, people are hating on it?
Well, it's not even like that I am getting the hate because I don't really like put it out there on social media or whatever, but I'm just like,
yeah,
literally we can have a conversation and be like, yep, you liked it, I didn't, or I liked it, you didn't. Okay, cool. Like that's a good conversation. Doesn't matter.
Right.
But it's just like there's people out there who are just like, nope, it's awful, and you don't know Star Wars, and you destroyed my childhood, and I'm just like, no, you didn't.
Right.
And I will say I have evolved as a fan because I used to be, I couldn't believe if somebody liked the prequels.
Right.
And I was just like, what? You like those movies? I can't believe it. They're so bad. Blah, blah. And I am very glad that I have evolved. I'm very glad that I never was really on social media. And that, because I'm fine having that conversation and like stuff with in person. I'll be like, oh my gosh, you like that movie? How could you like that movie? And we can discuss it. That's different, but like with social media now, it's just like, oh, we're gonna yell at people and not have a conversation, and so
totally right. And there are people who just the trolls out there who just are and can just start pick a fight with anybody.
And we're gonna do an episode about the fandom and everything, the controversy of the fandom. So sorry that I'll get off my soapbox, but that was my big piece. And so we want a positive interaction with all of our fans and with Star Wars in general. So
right.
Please remain positive. Like if you don't like what we're saying, then let us know, like in a positive way. Be like, hey, you didn't mention this, or like, hey, you could talk better about this. Like, please let us know.
Right.
All right.
Awesome.
And we're gonna say goodbye with Never Tell Us the Odds.
Never tell us the odds. Boom.
Never tell me the odds.
People are counting on us. The galaxy is counting on us. Solo, we'll figure it out. We'll use the Force. That's not how the Force works. Oh, really? You're cold?
I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
Don't you turn against me.
Before the dark time.
You underestimate my power!
You thunder against me!
You have done that yourself!
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Chancellor Palpatine is evil! From my point of view, the Jedi are evil!
Release your anger. Only your hatred can destroy me.
Bring balance to the Force! Not leave it in darkness!
You're not with me, then you're my enemy. Now you have become the very thing you swore to destroy.
You are the chosen one!